Hello, my name is Michael Lenahan. I'm the Assistant Action Director for North Carolina. The title of my final today is Go and Tell, Learning Evangelism from Jesus. When Jesus came to them and said, "All authority in heaven and on earth has been given to me. Therefore go and make disciples of all nations," we find that in Matthew 28:18-20. So, we often think of evangelism as standing on a street corner with a megaphone or traveling to a foreign country. But Jesus never said, "Go, be awkward." He said, "Go, make disciples." The Great Commission isn't a suggestion. It's our personal mission. And the best way to understand how to share our faith is to look at how Jesus did it. Jesus didn't hand out tracts or debate theology just to win an argument. He loved people deeply, met them in their brokenness, and invited them to follow him. So let's look at 4 ways Jesus modeled personal evangelism and how we can follow his steps today. Point 1, Jesus started with compassion. In Matthew 9:36, we see, when he saw the crowds, he had compassion on them because they were harassed and helpless, like sheep without a shepherd. See, Jesus didn't see sinners. He saw souls. He saw pain. He saw people in need of hope. So the women at the well that we see in John 4, a Samaritan woman full of shame and brokenness, comes to draw water alone in the heat of the day. Jesus doesn't ignore her. He doesn't judge her. He begins with a simple question: "Will you give me a drink?" That small act of compassion led to a whole village hearing the gospel. Evangelism begins not with a message, but with a heart. You don't need to be eloquent. You just need to care. Start with prayer. "Lord, help me see people the way you do." It's a great way to start it. Help me see people the way you do, Lord. And that brings us to point 2, that Jesus met people where they were. In Luke 19:5, we see Zacchaeus, "Come down immediately. I must stay at your house today." Jesus didn't wait for people to come to him. He pursued them. In Zacchaeus' case, a corrupt tax collector hiding in a tree, Jesus sought him out and said, "Let's have dinner." When's the last time you asked somebody to coffee or to dinner? So Jesus called disciples where they worked. Peter and Andrew were fishing. Matthew was sitting at a tax booth. Jesus didn't call them from a synagogue. He called them from real life. And so Jesus met people at their dinner table. Today, that might look like meeting them in a coffee shop, in a break room, or even in the comments of a social media post. Evangelism isn't just preaching, it's showing up in someone's life. So let me ask you this. Ask yourself this: who in my daily routine might be searching for something more? Who's sitting in a tree hoping for someone to notice them? These are questions we can ask ourselves every day, that God will present to us somebody that we need to tell them about Jesus, that we need to love them. And that brings us to point number 3. Jesus spoke the truth with grace. In John 8:10-11, we see a woman. It says, "A woman, where are they? Has no one condemned you? Neither do I condemn you. Go now and leave your life of sin." Jesus had a way of holding truth and grace together. He didn't water down truth, but he didn't use it as a weapon either. Here's an example: the adulterous woman. The religious leaders wanted to stone her. Jesus wanted to save her. He forgave her, but he also called her to change. That balance is powerful. And so here's some practical tips to use. Don't avoid hard truths, but don't lead with judgment. Be real. Share your own journey. Share your brokenness and how Jesus is changing you and has changed you. People relate more to honesty than perfection. And so here's a quote that I love. It says, "Truth without grace is mean. Grace without truth is meaningless. Jesus brought both." Let me say that again. Truth without grace is mean. Grace without truth is meaningless. Jesus brought both. And that brings us to point number 4. Jesus gave a clear call to follow. In Matthew 4:19, it says, "Come, follow me, and I will make you fishers of men." Jesus didn't just inspire people. He invited them. He didn't say, "Try harder." He said, "Follow me." And so here's an example with the rich young ruler we find in Mark 10. Jesus didn't chase after him. He gave him a clear next step, and the man had to choose. Evangelism isn't manipulation, it's invitation. So here's a challenge to all of us. Sometimes we talk about God, but never give people the chance to respond. So invite someone to church, offer to pray with them, Ask, can I share with you what Jesus has done in my life? People can't say yes if we never ask the question. And so as I close, the Great Commission isn't optional, it's personal. Jesus didn't just give the command, he showed us how to live it. So let's follow his examples. Start with compassion. 2, meet people where they are. 3, speak the truth with grace. And 4, give a clear call to follow. So this week, ask God to open your eyes to someone around you who needs hope. Don't wait for a perfect moment, create one. Don't wait to be ready, just be available. Go, and I am with you always, is what Jesus said.